Hey guys, it's Sam. Today I'm going to be going over some of the alternatives for the Hobonichi weeks, and all of these are unused except for the Amazon dupe, which I have featured here on my channel previously, but I thought that I would include it since it is an alternative for the Hobonichi weeks, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. So if you'd like to see what a few of the alternatives are and hear my thoughts about the overload of choices this year, stay tuned. Okay, so this year has been very up and down for me with the weeks. I spent quite a good time in a different planner that had a similar layout, and then I also spent a good portion of this year in pocket rings. So I've been back and forth with the Hobonichi weeks. I really thought at the end of last year that that was going to be my one and done planner for the year, and I was not going to have all of this switching around that I had. I had a really chaotic start of the year, and then I kind of found my place with the pocket rings, but then I was craving being back in a bound book. So I was thinking about the future, and I thought that I was really not going to go with the weeks because I was really getting annoyed with the paper. I hadn't found a pen that I just loved, and I was like, okay, so if I know that I like this size and I've reinvested again in covers that I love, side note, if you see a Gilio Rolfe for sale, please let me know. I sold mine and I've been sad about it ever since, and if I find one, I will definitely never let it go. I know you've heard that before, but it's true, for real, for real, for real. So anyway, I was like, you know, you love the size. I really like when you open the Hobonichi weeks, how you have this nice like square of planner. It's not too overwhelming. If you just carry the planner itself, you know, you have a really lightweight, easy carry, and it doesn't, you know, take up a bunch of room in your bag. So when I was thinking, okay, the Tomoe River paper is driving me nuts, let's find an alternative, I started looking around, and so I didn't have my sights set on the Hobonichi weeks. The one that I ended up in most, which I always hate when I do videos like this because I know that I really liked this planner, and I have to like be careful because then I'll be like, oh, that paper, and I'll want to run back to it. But this does have some drawbacks. And so just like going through my thought process here. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try this. And then as the year went on, as we got closer to the Hobonichi release, believe it or not, I was not going to order anything. And I had decided that I was going to choose a dupe and still have that size and layout that I wanted, but not have this paper. And so this year had a lot, in my opinion, of kind of overloads of dupes. And I'm not like being negative about that, but you know, the Hobonichi weeks is popular. A lot of people have invested a lot of time in the covers for the Hobonichi weeks, and the Hobonichi weeks is not perfect for everybody. And so a lot of companies have now kind of jumped on to that size. And I think that that's good, healthy competition. And if you can come up with a product, more power to you. But for people like me, sometimes it's too much, you know? Like, I've talked about this before on my channel. Back in the day, I had the planner that they gave me in high school, and that was an upgrade for my little Hallmark monthly calendar, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. And had I never joined the planner community, I might have forever planned and a planner like that you could just grab off the shelf and been happy. But the planner community gives you so many opportunities and so many different options, and then you're like, ooh, what is perfect? What is bigger? What is better? What is, you know, the one? And I think that in a way it also sort of breeds a bit of discontentment with your current system. And so I feel like that's kind of where I am with the whole thing. But I wanted to share with you guys what I have, what pros and cons and all of that. There are more out there than I have, but as things went on, I was like, well, let's try going back to the weeks since you're thinking about, you know, moving away from rings and going with that size for next year in a different planner. And then I started ordering some things, and then I started using the weeks and kind of fell back in love with it. And now that's kind of where I am. But I wanted to share with you guys these alternatives anyway, even though, spoiler alert, I'm going to be sticking with the weeks. These alternatives are great, and especially if you have things about the Hobonichi weeks that just aren't for you, this is what I am going to stick with for 2023. I said it. I can't take it back. Okay, so first is a really inexpensive Amazon dupe, and it is very similar to the Hobonichi weeks. Of course, I go and like set it up and then stopped using it. But this was one of the things that I really missed. I don't know, it's kind of silly, but I really like this patterned paper. This one doesn't open up as flat anymore because I had to like reinforce this. And then obviously this is not the quality of a Hobonichi weeks. It was already separating from me, like pulling it in and out of planner covers. But for this one, it has a very similar layout. It even has this area here. The drawback for it is that it is not as good of quality, and it is completely undated, which a lot of people struggle with undated planners, including me. I ended up spending a whole lot of money on stickers to date this because I don't like just writing in a date with my handwriting. I feel like it doesn't feel like a real calendar. I know that that's absolutely crazy, but I've accepted this about myself. And as you can see, I only went in and did 1 month because it's so labor intensive and I just got bored with it. I also spent about $50 on these stickers to date these weeks. The things that I love about this planner, I absolutely love the paper. I love that it takes gel pen so well. It doesn't have any smearing. It's definitely not Tomoe River paper. It is a little bit more on the cream side, but it isn't as yellow tinged, in my opinion, as the weeks. I love that it has the bigger grids. This one is on Amazon. I have it linked in my Amazon link to my planner favorites, and it's really nice. It doesn't have the grid on this side, but really nobody does. I like that it has a much more clean layout. It doesn't have the quotes, and so I feel like you get more space to write, and I really like the way this one looks. I was really pleased with it, but dating it got annoying, and I wanted to really use my monthlies more than I was feeling the urge to. One, because you have to date them, and two, there is no grid here on the monthly, and that's something that I really want for myself personally. But otherwise, I really love this planner, and I really love the bigger grids. So like I said, I have to be careful with this one because I really do enjoy this planner. So I use this one, as you can see, for quite a bit this year. The only other negative I think with this one is that you really lack pages in the back here. There are no pages that are grid. It's just blank. There's only a few of them, and yeah. But it is a nice dupe if you want like exactly the Hobonichi weeks, but you don't want to pay a Hobonichi weeks price. Definitely worth it to give this one a shot, but it definitely has some downfalls. Looking at the size difference to the Hobonichi weeks, this one is just a tiny bit taller. I didn't use it in a clear cover, I don't believe, but it does fit really nicely. Let me see. In the Hobonichi weeks covers. So I think it's just a tad too tall for the clear covers, but this is one of the new Moterm Veg Tan, and that's how it fits in there. I could be wrong. I might have put it in a clear cover. Maybe that's how I got this spine all ripped up. I don't know. Anyway, very similar in size to the Hobonichi weeks. which could be also a downfall because the Hobonichi, this is the Mega Weeks, and it has all of those back pages that you can use for anything your heart's desire and anything your heart desires. So it just has the calendar and a few kind of blank note pages, but they're very similar in thickness. All right, moving on. Let's see, I think I'll choose this one. So this one is from the Angel Shoppe, and this is not a planner. They do offer some planners, but this one is just their like blank notebook. I was sent this one free for a review, just to give my thoughts and opinions on it. I shared it when I first got it, and I've been waiting for my other stuff to all come in so that I could do this video before I really kind of explored more. This one, the paper is also Tomoe River paper. The grids are just a little bit bigger than the Hobonichi Weeks. So for this one, this would be good if you wanted to start your own planner that was the same style as Hobonichi Weeks, but you wanted a completely open layout to have it be more like a bullet journal. For me personally, I can't do that. I don't, like, if I don't have the patience to date one of these monthlies for a full year, I'm not going to have the patience to make my own planner. But I love that the option is there. The paper, I like that the grids are just a little bit bigger. It does lay flat, and it does have this hard back cover. I like that the little page markers, the ribbons, are these two really pretty muted colors that match the planner. That matters to me. I know that it probably shouldn't, but it does. And honestly, I like the quality of these ribbons better than the quality of the Hobonichi Weeks. When I finally get around to doing my setup video, you're going to see me cut these out. But look, the difference here. These are thicker and wider, and they look like they've been treated so that they're not going to fray on the end. This planner hasn't been used at all, barely touched, and the ribbons here are fraying. So this is going to get cut ASAP because I can't handle them. This, I have decided that I'm going to use this particular book as a backup if my plan for journaling in this does not work out. So I kind of flip-flop back and forth. I'm not naturally a good journaler. I never have been, but I go through spurts in my life where I really want to journal, and then I put a lot of pressure on myself because I wasn't consistent with it, and I really need to just be able to admit to myself that I'm a planner more than I am a journaler, and I need to just let myself journal when I feel like it and not worry about it when I don't. So I had planned to use this as a planner slash journal, but then sometimes I'm like, I just don't want to have those thoughts and feelings in the same planner that I'm like sharing with the world and carrying everywhere every day. And then sometimes I just want to write about things that I don't really want anyone in social media to ever be able to see. So I would like this to be a backup journal to write in and not worry about really ever sharing with anybody. So that is my plan with this. I like that the pages are white. I really like the color of it, and the bookmarks are really nice. And I like that it is open and free to use however you want. So this is from the Angel Shoppe, and it's a grid notebook. So it's the Angel Shoppe TAS grid notebook. They also do have one that is a planner. I do not have access to that one. I don't remember if it's dated or undated, but I also really liked that one. But this grid notebook is the one that I have on hand. Similarly, this one can't really be counted as a planner necessarily, but a lot of people use Stalogies to make a bullet journal, and so this is one that I wanted to include in this video. Recently, Tokyo Pen Shop, one of my favorite shops ever, they started offering to cut down a Stalogy to the Hobonichi Week size. Oh, and I knew I was going to do this. This one is somewhere in between a regular weeks and a mega week size, and it's just a little shorter, so this one definitely will also fit into your standard weeks covers. Sorry, back to the Stalogy. So Tokyo Pen Shop is now offering a service, and it's very, very inexpensive to cut down your Stalogy. You can request to have it cut down to what a sneaker weeks is, which is what I did, or a weeks size. So in comparison to the mega weeks, it's about the same. As far as thickness goes, really, this one's just a little bit thicker, and it's just a little bit shorter because a sneaker weeks, you don't have this hard cover going around, so it makes it just a little bit smaller of a footprint, which is what I really wanted. So this one is also going to be something that fits in all of your standard covers. I absolutely adore Stalogy paper. I love that the grids are bigger on this size. I think the A5, the grids are smaller, which makes no sense to me, but this one is going to accompany me to church, and this is where I'm going to write down sermon notes and stuff. So this one's going to stay like in my pew at the church building with one of my Bibles, and I like that it's smaller and I can sit it like on my Bible and write as I'm listening. And since I like this grid and this paper, I know that I'm going to be fine with any pen that I happen to have on hand. It doesn't have to be any kind of special pen, and the size is not going to get in the way. And I'll be able to have it open on my Bible and not feel like I'm juggling things that are like too big or whatever. So that's what I'm going to use this one for. But if you are a little bit more creative or imaginative than I am, then you could use this as a clean slate for you to do anything that you want to as far as your planning for the year. And Tokyo Pen Shop sent this one to me cut down, so I really appreciate them sending that. Obviously this is going to be one that I probably won't be sharing a lot of, just because it'll have my personal notes in it and stuff, but I'm really excited they have added this service to their lineup. And I know a lot of people cut it on their own, but I can't. That just causes me too much anxiety, and I'd be afraid of ordering a book and then ruining it and then having to order a new one. So if they ruin it at Tokyo Pen Shop, you'll never know that, because they're not going to send you a book that they've messed up. Yeah, so you can just order the book from them and they'll take care of it for you if you add that service on. All right, so the last one, last but not least, this is the last one that I had actually received for this video because it was a pre-order. This one is from Sweet Freckle Designs, also formerly known as Caffeine and Paper Co. And this one is an undated planner, and this one is quite chunky. So it's a good bit thicker than the Mega Weeks. I really like the cover on this one. It feels nice. It's like it looks like leather, but it's definitely not. I like that it has the gold accents on it. It's very simple, very clean, and I like that about it. As for this one, it does have planning pages to it, but it's minimal. So you don't have any of the pages that you have in the weeks, and then that week's dupe that you have on Amazon, like these pages here that I definitely use, and then the calendar for the months pages it also has, but it doesn't have anything added by way of like trackers or anything like that. It's just the months and the weeks, and so it's all undated, which for those of us who struggle with undated planners, there's a bit of a drawback there, but I absolutely knew what I was buying when I pre-ordered it. I like that it has the same kind of idea as the Hobonichi weeks. As far as having this space here, I like to decorate that with washi. Obviously, since it's undated, you can make this a Sunday start, you can make this a Monday start. She also offers stickers to kind of help you make this a dated planner. And I love that this one has the grids in the monthlies. Since this does have a little bit more to it, I'll just go ahead and compare Now, the grids are a little bit wider in this than the Hobonichi Weeks, which I appreciate because I don't have tiny handwriting, and scrunching things in is always kind of a struggle for me, so I like that about it. Of course, you'll need to have some space that you leave for whatever way you number the planner itself, but I like that it's very clean. You know, the Hobonichi Weeks has its own little style where it's got the grayed out and the red areas in the planner, which can be a little bit distracting, I must admit. And then you have a little bit of grid space down here to take notes or do whatever you do. So you have 12 months of your choosing since it's undated, and then it goes straight into the weeklies, and it's very similar to the Hobonichi Weeks as far as that little section off to the side right there. It's a little bit wider and it's a little bit taller than the Hobonichi Weeks because Hannah has removed all of this stuff that the Hobonichi Weeks has at the bottom. The grids are just a little bit bigger, it looks like, than the Hobonichi Weeks. And of course it has a white paper to it, which a lot of people love. I guess over the years I've kind of gotten used to the Hobonichi Weeks having that more cream or yellow colored paper, but I wouldn't hate it if they moved away from it and went to a more whitish color. So for this planner, everything is open for you. You do have a little bit of space here at the top, and there's like a little place to like add a header, so the grid doesn't go all the way to the top of the page, but it goes all the way down. So this is like mirrored there for you. So that is the planner. You have some notes pages in the back, just like the Mega Weeks would, and I believe there's a page for every day. I think that was the idea behind the planner, so that you have all of your months, all of your weeks, and then I think there's 365. They're unnumbered, but if I'm remembering correctly, that was the deal. So if you are someone who likes to write a daily list, obviously you would have the room that you need for that. I don't think that I would need that much room for journaling, because like I said, I'm not a huge journaler, and I also don't do a daily page every day with my planner. Those are kind of few and far between for me, but I know a lot of people do. So you would have everything you need in this planner. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this one yet. I think I'm just going to set it to the side in case I get annoyed at the weeks again, so that I have something that I can jump into the same size, which will hopefully keep me from selling all of my covers again if I end up leaving the Hobonichi Weeks. I told myself when I was buying all of these Moterm covers that they weren't as expensive as, say, a Gilio, and so that I wouldn't have to feel guilty about it if I ended up leaving the size, letting them sit on the shelf, so that I didn't sell them. And so this is for a Mega Weeks. It's a little bit bigger. You can still get it closed, but I think that you would struggle if you like to really chunk yours up. That might be difficult to keep in this all year. Let me grab another. And I haven't decided for sure. I bought this particular cover several weeks ago on Facebook on one of the buy sell trade groups, and it was sold to me as a regular weeks cover, not a Mega Weeks cover. So then I ordered the Janet Leather Black in the same size, because in the last month I had decided not to use a Mega Weeks this year, but to use a regular weeks. So I was buying covers for the regular weeks, and then now I've decided to use the Mega. So my Mega Weeks does fit in this cover, so I'm hoping when the new one comes that is also for the regular weeks that it still fits. Then I'll know for sure that I was, sold the right thing. But this one, I guess it depends. I can't tell you for certain right this moment if this is for the Mega or the regular weeks, but it doesn't fit too great in this one. So I feel like Hannah has one of these, and I think that it fits better. So my guess was that this actually is a regular week's cover, but this is the biggest and the heaviest of all of the options out there. I think that having the non-hardback cover though helps reduce what weight it could have had, but of all of these options, this is the one that gives you your basic layout for what you can build your planner. You do have to work to make this a planner, but you aren't starting from scratch like you would be the Stalogy or the Angel Shoppe notebook. And then unlike this dupe on Amazon, you do have enough pages in the back because you have one for every day. So this is a great option, I think, if you don't want the Hobonichi weeks and it's kind of more busy look. You don't mind dating things, and you don't mind that it's a bit more on the chunky side. There are a couple other options that I ended up not choosing. There were just a lot of choices out there, and originally I was like, I'm just gonna buy one of everything, and then I was like, just hold on now. You're probably gonna lose your mind if you do that. But for me personally, in the end, the Hobonichi Weeks has won out for my main planner for the year. But hopefully, if there's something about the Hobonichi Weeks that you just don't really like, something about one of these alternatives spoke to you and gave you an idea for what might be a choice for you for a planner for 2023. I try to cover everything that I could think of. I was gonna do pen tests in here, but I feel like this is Tomoe River paper, this is Tomoe River paper, so it's gonna give you the same result. Stalogy paper is amazing, and I've already featured this planner on my channel, so I didn't want to make this any longer than it had to be. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or just want to chat about all of the options for Hobonichi Weeks alternatives this year, I'd love to chat with you in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new around here and don't want to miss out on future videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much as always for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye guys.